Shalom, welcome to Challenging Torah, project of the Malibu Jewish Center and Synagogue. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, be comforted, my people, begins the Haftorah portion of this week as we enter a cycle of 7 weeks of comfort after Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, the moment that we mourn for the destruction of the first and second temple, and images fill our mind of destruction as in 72 AD, the temple stood in ruins. Those images for me this week were mixed in a jumble, together with the images from the nightly news. Destruction in Israel, much destruction in Gaza. Comfort you, my people. This is a moment, hopefully, as we go into this period of ceasefire, that we find comfort on all sides and rebuild the lives of those who have had their lives disturbed by these 4 weeks of war. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, and we ask ourselves the question, was this the right thing? Are we asking the right questions? And so we come to the Torah portion, which is Vaethanan. Vaethanan means I plead, I beg, and it opens with Moses asking a question. Please, God, can I go over across the Jordan and see the good land on the other side of the Jordan where you are sending us? Can I lead the Jewish people into the promised land? And God says, how many times do I need to tell you no? Please. Invest Joshua, he will lead them into the promised land. The answer to the question, once again, is no. And I hear strains of the Rolling Stones in back of me going, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes if you try, you get what you need. No, it would have been inappropriate for Moses to be the one to lead them into the promised land. He's not a warrior. He's 100 years old. It's not appropriate. He had a different role. He asked a good question, a question from his heart, but he didn't get what he wanted. And so the first challenge of this week's Challenging Torah is what happens when we don't get what we want. Sometimes we ask and God answers, and the answer is no. Just like your kids. You're not listening, Mom. I am listening. The answer was no. I can hear my children now. Moses is told no, and he's gracious. And he invests Joshua. And he tells the story to those gathered that they must listen, and listen carefully to his words and to the words of the Holy One. Shema Yisrael. Listen to these laws that I will now impart to you. And the entire Torah portion is filled with words like observe, see, listen. Listen up, everybody. Pay attention. You will only know to ask the right questions if you have been listening. How do we know God? Clearly, we stand at Sinai and quote in this week's Torah portion, the difficulty of listening to a God who you saw no shape when your Lord spoke to you at Horeb or Sinai, out of the fire. How do we access a God with no shape? And we do so through our senses. We're asked to see, to observe, to listen. Mindfulness is at the very core of the Jewish tradition. And so Moses then imparts the 10 Commandments again, this time clearly asking the Jewish people to listen to what has been given as their great gift and guidance, so they will know the right questions to ask. And after the repetition of the entire 10 Commandments, the most famous phrase in all of Torah is spoken. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel. The Lord your God, our God, the Lord is one, Ahad. There is no distinction between the light and the dark, the upper and the lower, and even there is no place in this entire universe without God. To perceive God, you just have to stop, look, and listen. And then we go into the next most practiced and known words of any bar mitzvah student. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levavcha v'kol nafshecha v'kol miodecha. You will love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your breath and all your might. These are the words that are commanded and placed upon your heart. You can know God through the senses. You can listen to the commandments, but you can only understand through levavecha, through your heart. And the word levavecha is written with two vets. And we say that therefore, yirah, awe, and ahava, love, because we listen to God from both of those places. From even the evil inclination and Yetzer HaTov or Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination and the good inclination. It's always a struggle. We always need to ask. We always need to test the question. But we listen not only with our ears, we listen with our heart. So Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, may we be comforted, may we hear, and may we celebrate our Shabbat together in peace. See you on Saturday morning, Malibu Jewish Center and Synagogue.